Broom.
Where's he at playing?
Yeah.
Where's he playing at?
I don't know in your
He's
backyard.
playing right.
Yeah.
He's playing with Baycott and Shibway and Ejiofor next year.
You don't see me in
The
your
four
backyard?
of them is gonna be on the same team in
Yeah.
Europe on Turkey.
Yeah. He didn't. I told y'all he wasn't making it.
No, he ain't
His
looking
game didn't
good.
carry over.
He had no
lift.
None.
They gonna be playing. He got no lift. He ain't getting away with that. No pro.
I'll
He
tell
got
you
no lift.
who's looking a little better
Alright,
now than
we
he did
got
because
that
Ace Bailey's
No.
starting to play his
I know.
game better.
Huh?
Ace Bailey's starting to play better
Yeah.
at Utah.
Yeah.
I told you that guy's he's another guy, athletic, can shoot.
He's athletic.
Yeah,
Well,
he
got
gonna-
somebody,
hey,
an athlete, an
With
athletic
spring
person.
like that,
Yeah, you know.
that's why I like Wilson because he got that same kind of
Yes, he
spring.
does. Yes, he does. He's a can't miss for me.
Yeah, I would take him.
Kurt was saying he don't see him being a star in the league.
Who's this guy you talking
The guy from North
Caleb
Carolina.
Wilson.
That guy's gonna be a star in the league. I'm telling you.
about? I don't know about no stuff.
Oh, okay. Remember I said it.
Yeah, no,
I'm
he's got
write
that
it
kind of
down.
ability. He's got that
just
kind
keep
of
it
going,
ability.
right?
Yes, he
down.
do. Yes, he
Mark
do.
this video. Date the video.
Yeah, I said it
He's still in the
before.
league.
The day before St.
He's in the league.
Who we play for?
76ers.
I never see him.
That's what I'm saying.
That's Greg.
They say he's in the league. He's in the
Oh,
league.
That's Greg.
He never get no run.
No, he's doing
He's
the
on
same
your team. They got
He's doing the
Broom.
same thing that his last name is. He sweeps up after the game is over. Here, Broom, take your broom. That's all he
I
doing.
didn't know he was on the 76ers.
I ain't know
Man.
he's in the league.
Ain't nobody even
I
know he
never seen him
exists.
play. Never seen him play.
When's the
Matter of
last
fact,
time you heard somebody name that cat? Anywhere.
Until Greg just mentioned his name.
Exactly.
Talk about it, I forgot all about it.
Right, because y'all
You
y'all
forgot
was
his
talking-
name.
Y'all was talking about him last year.
I
that he
remember, and I
wasn't-
told you he won't make it.
no.
You know
I
who had
remember.
more lift
Rewind the
than him?
tape.
Remember?
Everybody.
That's true. Even some white.
You know who the first original guy like that was? Carlos Williamson.
Wallace Williams.
Yeah.
Oh,
Carlos
he was
Williamson was
tough.
the same kind
And
of
he-
player.
And he was tough when he got in the
He
league.
And he was a tough guy.
Yes, he was.
But he couldn't shoot
He
it.
couldn't
No.
shoot.
And the NBA exposed him because he wasn't as athletic as everybody thought he was.
He won that
But he got better
Yeah.
as he
He
went
got a little
on.
better,
he got
but
a little better.
he never was the starter. He was in
No,
college.
no.
Everybody coming out of college
No.
thought he was going to be the man.
Yeah.
Him.
No.
I remember.
Purvis Short.
They were like 6'7" apiece, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't
Yeah.
that tall. They were tweeners.
You know who else was like? I mean, he was good, but he never was as good as he was in college either. Wayman Tisdale.
Wayman.
Yeah, I was shocked.
I liked
That I
him.
was
I
shocked.
liked women.
He was a
Well,
beast. at
yeah, he was a
college.
beast.
He was a beast
But-
at college.
He got to the pros, and there was more beast out there. And
Yeah.
his game wasn't translating just enough. He was good enough to play
right.
and stay a
To
little
stay in the
while,
NBA, yeah.
but he didn't turn into the star.
I'm
I
gonna
thought
tell
he
you the
was gonna
guy
be.
who surprised me out of
Turned into a
everybody.
guitar player.
Remember Scotty Thurman who played with
Scotty
Arkansas?
Thurman.
That guy was killing them
Yeah.
in the NCAA tournament.
Yes, he was.
Killing them.
Yes, he was.
I said I thought he was a can't miss.
Scotty Thurman, Lee Mayfield.
Yeah, I
They had a good
thought.
team.
Yeah, I thought he was a can't
Yeah,
miss.
he
You know
looked
what I
like
mean?
he- Yeah.
Oh
I
my
I
God.
thought he was going to
And,
be real good.
and,
Yeah,
and,
he
and
didn't last
O'Banion,
at all.
Another one.
Ed O'Bannon.
El Bannon
Yeah.
hurt his knee in college.
Yeah, he hurt his knee, but
Yeah. He was a leaper.
And what was his
he
brother
should-
name?
Charles.
Charles O'Bannon. Yes.
Charles wasn't no.
No. But I
El
was
Bannon,
shocked.
they. I liked it. El
And
Bannon.
then the McCray brothers in Louisville.
Yeah.
They didn't live up to their hype neither. in the
One of
pros.
them.
Rodney played a long time.
Rodney was
played.
better than Scooter.
Yes, he was.
Yeah,
but
he's
but
better
in
than Scooter.
Louisville, Scooter was the man.
Right. Scooter
In
was
high
the man,
school, he
then
was the
Rodney
man.
turned out to be-
Rodney was the better pro though.
Right,
So
he turned
wasn't
out to
that-
be the
He was
better
like
pro.
the point forward.
Wasn't that like
For
with
that
the
team
King
he
brothers
used to.
also with Bernard and Albert? Like
Oh please,
Albert
That
was a better
Albert
high
was
school
the player of the
player
year coming out of high school.
and college, and then
he was the most sought after basketball
Yes, he
player
was.
coming out of
If
high
you
school.
make the cover of of Sports Illustrated, you the man.
Coming out
Oh,
of there.
wait, not, I got another one.
And,
And he's still playing. And to this day, when he was in high school, he was the top player. And I saw him yesterday. And I was shocked that he was still in the league. Marvin Bagley.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. He's still playing.
Yeah, I
He's
saw-
still
that's how
playing.
Yeah.
But when he was in high school, he
Yeah.
was the number one
Yeah,
guy
yeah.
coming out of high school.
Yeah.
and where is he now with Charlotte?
No,
He
he
just
No, he
got
played
traded
yesterday. They
to-
was playing yesterday.
on Utah.
Yeah, on
Not Utah.
no.
What here?
I forgot what. Oh my God, what game was I
They get the
watching?
afro and shit. I saw him yesterday too.
Is it Sacramento?
No, I think he got traded from there.
It was on yesterday. He was.
Yeah, he's on TV yesterday. That's why I was shocked
whatever
when I
team
saw
was
him.
playing yesterday on TV.
Minnesota played.
No, he wasn't on that game. He was on.
the Mavericks.
Mavericks.
Right, that's what it is.
Yeah.
The Mavericks.
Bagley
He was
stuff.
on. He was on the NBA channel playing against.
So he been around.
Cleveland.
Yeah, he
They've
been around.
been
He been
around.
around 3-4
He
teams.
been in the league for about
He been
8
around.
years.
Yeah, he been around 3-4
He
teams
just wasn't.
already.
He didn't turn out to be
No.
because he was the second pick in the draft
Yes,
when
he
he
was.
came out.
But you know what's crazy? When and that's again, I remember I put in the chat and I was telling y'all, a lot of these guys, they talk about these guys, they tell them to come out after a year or two. And I was like, not him.
Yeah.
I remember in college, I said, he not ready. He not that guy. They kept talking
Yeah,
about
but
him. He was decent,
Right.
but he wasn't that guy for me the way they was talking about him.
They talk
And-
about potential.
Yes,
That's why they
right.
draft those guys.
Exactly right. And sometimes that potential
It don't shine.
I think, to me personally, sometimes I feel coming out too early hurt you because you need to grow.
You need to go.
You need to grow. Ain't nothing wrong with being in school to playing for 3 years.
No, it ain't.
It's nothing wrong. You don't have to play
Especially
for
now that
4
they paying.
because if you could make it at 3 years, if you could make it at 4, you could make it at 3.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But these guys leaving in
grabbed
1
him
and
at
2
number
years,
10.
What's his name?
sometimes you're not
Yeah,
ready.
He's on the Lakers now. He was on the Nets before. Timmy.
Right.
Timmy,
And he
yeah.
played all 4 years.
Right.
Yeah.
Talking to the mic,
But-
please.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
He was a very good college player.
Yeah, he was.
Right.
But I mean, that doesn't. And then again, on that take, some people are just good college players, or I can
Right,
even
they
say
just-
great college
right.
players.
Right.
But your game don't transfer to
They
the
don't,
pro level.
Exactly.
It doesn't
And
transfer.
what's crazy about that is the level between that and the G League is vast because them guys you talking about are going to G League and go do work.
Right.
They'll
Oh, they
do
good
work
ball
in the G
players.
League. But like you said, they go into the pros.
You have to.
They might be.
The
They might not
situation
get off
gotta
the
be
bench.
right for you.
It's like
Right.
it's like
right.
baseball, minor league and major league.
Right.
Right.
There's there's guys who lifetime minor league Hall of Famers who
Right.
get to the pros and can't hit a lick or can't
Right.
pitch work.
They had a
again.
guy like that on the Yankees years ago. What was that guy's name? I think he played about 11 years in the minor league.
Yeah,
I can't forget. You know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about, right?
Steve Balboa? No.
No, some guy. He was there for like 11 years, and he was good. But he just when they bring him up, he couldn't stick. But he killing the minor
What's
league.
that guy? Every time the Yankees brought him up, he kept getting hurt with the reddish hair.
Clint
Yeah.
Frazier?
Yes, I think it was Frazier. Clint Frazier, that's his name.
Yeah.
Outfielder.
Yeah.
Yes. Every time he came up, he got hurt all the time. He played well for a little bit, then he get hurt.
So let's talk about what did y'all think was the best college games yesterday? Like I just want to say, like, i.e., for example, I was watching Purdue and Michigan.
That was a good game.
And I
That
thought
was a
that
good game.
the guard should have been feeding the big guys inside.
The guy from North Carolina who came, the guy on Michigan.
Cadeau.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
he sucks.
Yes, he does.
Oh,
I'm
my
glad he
God.
I
went
was
to
trying to
Michigan.
be
Oh my,
polite.
oh my
I was
God.
trying to be
I
polite.
was like, get this guy out the game. He hurt them. He tried to be him. He tried to play hero ball.
yeah, it was a
Instead
little,
of getting the guy the
it
ball.
was a little frustrating, mate. You should have
Yeah.
been going inside so they could
Either that big
establish-
tall, the real
Right.
tall white guy, or the guy 23. They both big. And he wants to take, he's trying to be the hero to
But
take the
so-
crucial shots. He didn't have that game.
So time
know
out,
that-
time out. So like, the same way you accused me of hollering and echoing things, ain't nobody heard you.
Yo, I was like,
Ain't
get this
nobody
guy out
heard
the
you.
game. He's
You-
killing. Yo, he
What-
hurt
what-
them,
What's wrong
bro.
with your TV, man?
Screaming at the TV and-
And it's not working.
Yo,
China
oh,
said talking to the mic.
I didn't have the problem. It was his television. All right. I am speaking into the mic.
yeah.
what I'm
well, you
saying
see
is
what I see.
That was
he
very,
caused them the game.
that was very disappointing.
Yeah,
And
but
for
that
them
was a
to
good game.
Like they would have been a number one seed pretty
And-
much if
and-
they would have won.
Right, and well, they were number
They
one
still
seed. They
number
still
one
got the
seed.
number one seed, but
I
they
think
should have
that's
won
a
that
gift.
game. Yes, it is, because that opposite, the guy on Purdue, their guard was feeding that boy,
He
their
was
big
doing
boy,
his thing.
the
Yes.
ball, and he was hot. He had about 5 baskets in a row. You know what I'm saying?
I was
And-
pulling for Michigan.
I wanted them to win too.
right.
Yeah.
And then he was doing so much, and the other guy that hurt his ankle, he was a little
23, the big
right.
guy. Yeah,
I
yeah.
think he just couldn't get it together.
Yeah.
So
Purdue played good. Them guys played good.
Absolutely.
They played
They
good.
was preseason number one
Yes,
team
they
in the
were.
country.
kudos
they
to
were.
them. So
They,
they
were supposed to play
Yeah,
that way, but
yeah.
they didn't play the whole season.
Right.
Yes,
are they somebody you need to watch out for?
for sure.
Yeah, they're a strong team.
Don't sleep on Purdue. I wouldn't sleep on them.
They're a
They
strong
got a
team.
reputation of getting bumped early. So Oh well.
Yeah, they
before
used
get
to.
the Final Four.
They used to.
Yeah, we'll
They
see
made
how-
it a
do.
couple of years ago.
Yeah, they made
Yeah.
it a few times. Well, let's see what happens.
But they got a good coach. He's a good coach, and they be
And
having
they
good
got a
players.
lot of veterans.
Yes, they do.
They're an older team.
Yes, they
that
are.
helps them.
Yep.
I have to get used to doing seeing UCLA play Purdue. It's like, what the hell is this, man?
Yeah.
So USC.
What you call him?
You
Got
know,
a
that's part of the reason that St. John's didn't get the respect that they should have got is because the Big 12, the Big 10, ACC, and the SEC are so strong,
Yeah, they were
Right.
strong conference.
and the Big East, they only got 3 teams in,
Right.
and Villanova was lucky to get in.
Yes, they were.
They might have only had 2. To
All right.
be
that's
honest.
because Syracuse suck.
I got a question.
Syracuse is the ACC. They're not in.
Oh,
the-
you lucky. That's why y'all ain't in there because y'all suck.
So what
Just like I
about-
said.
Once y'all went
Yes,
to
sir,
ACC,
yeah,
forget
You
about
should have
it.
never left.
It was
So-
about football.
Right,
It was
it's about
I know it was the money.
You're not getting that
But you-
talent from down south. You're
No.
not getting that
If-
talent.
No.
Well, let me
Football or basketball.
let me say this.
Go ahead, say it. Bro.
We're gonna go through this low period. Like St. John's. Remember, St. John's went to this low period.
St. John's.
If we had
Wait. Before you go to the next thing.
okay,
St. John's went to low period when they changed their name.
okay, all right. I really
They
don't
still
know. but,
recruiting in the city and they getting another guy. But now
Right.
it's good.
No, wait. Question to you, Coach. So, how long did it take them to recover because of the name change?
They got a good coach.
Oh, so
No, it took them from
I was
years.
getting ready
They
to
went.
go
It
there.
went. No,
so
it took them
because
from
of the
years.
name or
It's
because
just-
of the coaches?
No, well, the coach make a this
Coach
Patino makes a
big
difference. But they went through, like he was about to say, guys, finish just because they went through a low period.
No, we
What
were
do you
trying
think?
to understand
Yeah.
what was
I'm just
the
gonna
problem
say
with the name.
right now we need that coach that can bring some names in,
Right.
regardless of because we still it's still Syracuse.
It is.
If it was Rick Pitino, obviously the team wouldn't be going through these situations right now.
I agree with you.
You know what I'm
there,
saying? So that's what we need right
So
now.
you think McNamara could do that?
I was going to ask him that. You really
I-
think
I
G
want
Mac
Mac-
is that
I
guy?
want
Are
Mac,
we talking
but I don't
football
know
or
if-
basketball?
Basketball.
But I
Talking basketball.
I know that. I was just I was
Their
just
football program ain't too bad.
I was talking.
Yeah.
I was talking
football
about.
program is pretty good.
I was
They be in the
referring
top
to him
35,
and the
40.
Steelers.
Oh,
Really?
Say what? What did you just say? The Syracuse being the football team.
Their football team
They
is
be in
pretty
the
good.
top
They
30.
It was
decent.
not 500 last year.
No, but I'm saying on the normal when I used to watch see
Wait.
them, they was in there.
Let me correct you. Real
Okay.
quick. Syracuse, since they've been to the ACC,
Hasn't won not one
hasn't
title.
won. Right.
In
And now
football.
now you're recruiting for these Southern boys.
Right. I
And
understand.
they're not
Football
going to
title.
They're
Syracuse.
not going to
understand
the
that.
snow.
But you gotta
They're gonna stay in that.
let me
warm weather climate.
break down
Go ahead.
why we are where we
I
are.
wanted
right
him to answer that question first before you jump.
now. First of all, Jim Boeheim was the
Yeah, no,
the-
he was
the
face.
mo-
He
right, he was
for
the face,
longest
right?
time.
and he played 2-3 zone because
Right.
the team wasn't playing no good defense anyway.
But that was his thing. Yeah.
Right,
Right.
that was his thing. He was a zoner guy.
Archie went away from that.
Okay.
So now we getting our butt kicked because he not playing 2-3 zone. He wants them to play man-to-man defense.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So now you see a downfall of the team, even though they played good the last couple of years, but they terrible right now. And then he had issues with the players.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So now that's why it's a time for a change. Now,
Okay.
when it comes to GMAC did good at Siena. You know what I'm saying? I want him, but I don't know if Syracuse wants
There's
him.
a big difference between Siena and.
I know
Syracuse.
that. I know that. But he is a face too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
he's
You know what I'm
a face
saying?
from security
Yeah.
at
Right.
Syracuse,
So
yeah.
Because
like I
you got to understand, Jim Boeheim handpicked Autry.
Right.
I got
He
And,
was a
and
successor.
now
You
listen,
seen it.
now listen. McNamara was on that team with
He
them
was
first,
assistant
and
coach.
then left Autry
Right.
and went his own way because
Right.
evidently they had whatever they had.
I got an
and he
important
left 'em,
question.
Right.
You know.
Did Syracuse get invited to the big dance?
No.
Okay, let's move on. So let's move on. What we need to talk about is the potential teams that are going to be in the Final Four or moving up, who the sleepers are. Who is this Queens team? Anybody know where they're from?
They're from
North Carolina.
North Carolina.
Well, let me say this too.
All right.
They should have separated. It's only 3 Big East teams. Why you got UConn and St. John's in the same
I
bracket?
understand that either.
I couldn't understand
You know what I'm
that
saying?
either.
What are they, 4 and 5?
Yes.
I mean, technically, they,
St. John's is 5.
UConn
Right.
is 2.
St. John's
UConn
is
is
5.
2?
Yes.
yeah,
Okay.
So do y'all think the
Technically,
seeding? Go ahead.
they're all Eastern teams and they in the East
Oh,
bracket.
that's a technical-
why they
We
did
didn't
it.
come on.
Hold up.
That's why they did it.
Wait a second, y'all. Wait.
We done seen teams
Wait.
go all over the place.
All
Well,
right.
they in San Diego
Right.
anyway.
San
but it's still
Diego and they
the
wind up
bracket
coming
Them in
east.
3 different brackets. There's only 3 teams.
Just a second. Answer the question or hold it. Hold that thought. They start out in San Diego. Do they wind up coming east?
They
They
got
gotta
it.
win.
They have
If they
to.
win.
Yeah, they
If
gotta
they
win.
win. If
But
they
their
win.
next game might
Yeah,
be
they got some
Kansas.
tough. Right. They
Come on, son.
got some tough teams that they
They
have to
could
go
beat Kansas.
through.
No,
They could
I
beat
know, I'm
Kansas.
just
They
saying.
could beat Kansas.
You know, and then it's I think it's Duke after that, right?
All right. So,
Right. If
They
they
got,
Duke-
if
So-
they keep winning, if
Here-
they keep
Right.
winning.
but here go the thing. How many? Last week, I think we asked
It'll
him,
be Duke in
and
the
we
Elite
said
Eight.
how many rounds would
Right.
they go? Or they predicted to go, and everybody was like, maybe 2 rounds. So now you
Just before the
looking
brackets was out.
before you looking further than 2 rounds.
I think they could get 2 wins. These
Yeah, I
first
think
That's
two.
the Duke game. If the Duke
they play-
is the third game,
If they play the way they played against UConn the other day, they can make a run.
Right.
They can make a run if they play that way. They
My
can make
thing
a
is,
run.
they have to shoot the ball because if they don't shoot the ball well, it's going to be the same thing that happened against Arkansas last year, where if they don't start, if they're not shooting well, their defense suffers because they don't play as hard as they do when they shoot well.
Right.
They have to jump on a team and
Yes.
get a little bit of a lead, and then they get energized, and you can see how hard they play. Because perfect example, when they went to UConn, they got blown out by 30. They
Right.
couldn't shoot. They missed 25 shots in a row or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
And you could see it in them that the game got away from them inside. They didn't have it in here. But
Yeah.
when they played them the other day, once they got that lead, you saw how much energy that got to them. And their defense was tight. And even my little grandson was like, man, they play defense. I said, yes,
even
they
when
do,
the
young
run,
man."
even when the UConn tried to make the run,
Right,
they shut them down
because they
stopped.
shot
What's it
the
called?
ball. But
What's
if
it
you're
called?
not shooting, you end up like you did against Arkansas because they're not that good at shooting.
And I think
team.
they're gonna be a problem again in this tournament, Arkansas.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
they could be
they're
a
better
problem.
than
That's
they were
my
last
sleeper.
year.
Yeah.
Arkansas
They're gonna
my
be a
sleeper.
problem again too.
That point guard is
Darren
Yes.
Sakoff, he's a good player.
yo.
Yeah.
And he gonna be if he leaves this
He
year,
could be the
He
first
gonna
pick.
leave.
He could be the first pick.
He's gonna leave. All them kids are gonna
He's
leave.
tough.
He's very
They-
tough.
I mean, I
He's
get,
ready made. He got a body for the
Yes.
for the next level already.
I get that they get paid nil money, but nil money is not NBA money.
No, not at all.
That's why when you hear all these rumors, because like you were saying last week, the bouncers say he might stay.
Right.
Today I read a thing that says Cameron Boozer might stay. That's nonsense.
Right.
None of them kids are staying because they're not going to make $40 million
Mm-mm.
in
In
college.
college, right.
It's not going to happen. If you're a top pick in the NBA, you guarantee $40 million.
Yep.
And that
Yep.
you ain't gonna make that kind of money in college for 5 years.
Nope.
I don't care what they do.
Nope.
They're not gonna pay you that. So these kids that they keep hyping up with this AI stuff about, oh, they gonna stay. No, they're not staying. They're not
So-
stupid.
So top kids, they get the NIL money, but you can get bigger money going to NBA.
Of course.
If you're-
But
if
do
you're
you
first
need-
round, top first round pick.
Do you need to develop your game? Did we briefly touch on that? Like some people might jump prematurely,
Agree.
or
There's a lot of people
But-
like that.
But
They
Dave,
get that money.
They,
you got right, exactly. If you mess around and you stay and you become DeJuan Wagner, who was the first greatest player when he was in high school. He's 4 years in college and he's not even looking to be drafted no more.
Right.
And he could have left after his first year and been getting the NBA
And
money, but
getting
he
big
said, no,
dollars.
I'm going to develop my game. And it didn't work. So
not
if you
gonna
got a
get
chance
drafted.
to jump, you jump. You go get the NBA. Even if you just get one contract, you set for life because you got like 30 or 40 million dollars. You're not guaranteed if you stay in college, you might get hurt or your game might not develop. That's like the kid Jackson. Another kid, McDonald's All-American, was at North Carolina. He thought he was one and done. He didn't. His game didn't translate. Now he's at St. John's. He look a little better, but he still ain't a number one draft choice. He got a chance. He got to play next year and hopefully develop even his game even more. Because if he doesn't, he got a chance to be DeJuan Wagner and not get picked.
so
You got to be real
would you
careful
say?
with that game.
Would you say that again? So you able to move around now with the NIL money? You could go from one school to the next. There's no capping. You
sitting
could
out.
yeah,
There's no
you
sitting
could
out.
transfer. You could go 5 years. You
well,
could
they
play
need
5
to put a
years
Right.
cap. They need to put a cap
on
on
the
that.
NIL money.
Yeah.
But
Why they need to put a cap on?
You think people could just change at
Keep
school
flipping back
every
and
year?
forth.
That makes no
They
sense.
do
could
it.
change.
Wait,
They do it.
doing it
that's
now,
why I'm
but
saying they need to stop
yeah.
that.
Why?
You think that's good? for the person,
Well,
For who?
prior,
for
the player
the
himself.
school, or forget the school, for the person. So you start in one school, you don't
You
like it, you go to the next school, and you do
Yeah.
4 schools in 4 years. That's not helping you.
well,
Well,
prior
it
to
depends. It
prior
depends.
to this, then they was making them sit out like a year.
You had to sit
Like
out of here.
they racial.
See, you got to
so,
understand
like,
they
right.
was using
They
you.
changed the rules.
They was using you as a meat market. While they was schools was making millions and millions of dollars, and they was holding you hostage. You taking away freedom. You say that you're looking at that as a fan.
Right.
You're not looking at that
Right.
if that was you.
Right.
You understand when they telling you, yo, you can't move. Okay, you want to transfer? You could transfer, but you got to sit out. You lose a year eligibility. You got to sit out a year. You know what I'm saying? They was using you as a meat market. You don't want to never take the power away from the players. Let them,
Alright,
they can get paid. They
they
can jump
gonna-
around. Let
they-
them get paid.
All right,
They
let me clean this up for a second. Let me just do some shout outs right quick and then open up the phone lines right quick. Shout out to Scotty Scott. Contrary to what you might believe, Scott, and what you're hearing, the majority of us are rooting for St. John's to go all the way to the Final Four. Shout out to Anthony Green. Shout out Anthony Silver Blackwell. Shout out to Rick Skinner, Bobby Bird, Simone Harris, Billy Girl. What's up? What's up with your turn? Shout out to her. Jay Jones. Shout out to you, Anthony Lonnie Wheeler, Jeffrey Allen, Terrence Jones. All right, this first stop to the next stop. We had a little technical difficulty. Shout out to Source Boss 675. Shout out. He said, shout out to the whole crew except for Mongo. So that's one of Mongo's biggest fans. All right. So the phone lines is open. The number's 516-206-0711. This first stop to the next stop was Super Dave, Coach Kurt, Serge the Sports Star,
Yes, yes.
Slick the Relic,
Living fossil.
Todd the Magnificent,
Yeah.
G Money in the building,
What up?
Tiny holding us down as usual. Much appreciated. So again, 516-206-0711. Let us know what your Final Four is and get out whatever else is on your chest or on your mind. Holler at us. Let's go.
John Green, where you at?
I gotta make y'all laugh because Greg was just talking right now. He talked like he's still in management.
Corporate.
That's that management coming
Here
out
we
there.
go
That's
again.
that management coming.
Here we
I
go
gotta get some
again.
corporate sound effects.
You know, listen, I just we gotta clear up a
We
few
the
things.
hourlies, yo. We
Gotta clear up a few things, so we're gonna have a meeting after the show. But first, Coach Kirk come with the LeBron pills, then Mongo come with the sauce pills. So, like, you know, whatever y'all imbibing, it's still bouncing off the wall.
Crack,
all right.
crack.
So we gotta work out. We gotta get a steady, bland diet so you can think free will. All right. And I, contrary to what everybody believed, I believe them too, but you got to get that management up out of you, son. No, let me stop. All right, y'all. So let's go.
But getting back to his point, though, they do gonna have to regulate it because it's kind of
are.
crazy. These
Eventually
guys,
they are.
because now what they doing is they making them pay the money back, and that's kind of
If you
slowing
leave.
guys down
Yeah.
if they try to leave.
Yeah.
I've heard they want them to do 2-year contracts for the same school, and then you can leave, and then you go to another school for 2 years or whatever. You gotta have some kind of regulation.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still gonna be better than what it used to be for them kids, because they, like you said, Todd, they used to have a stranglehold on them.
Yeah.
Now at least you can move around, but all that moving, I'm with Greg. 4 teams in 4
It
years.
gets confusing.
It's
trying to
ridiculous.
track people where they going. But did you hear?
Like a assassin for
You
hire.
don't get better neither.
But did you hear what they doing?
What's that?
You hear about Saban and them? There's a couple of those guys getting together to try to kill that NIL deal. They trying to kill it complete. Y'all didn't hear about that?
No.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Google that.
So-
Saban and a few other people.
So
Because they saying, like you saying,
Oh,
so
Trump and them.
I don't know if it's with
They
Trump,
had a
but I know Saban.
Saban,
He's
Trump,
one of-
Trump was with him. They
Oh.
all met. Trump, Saban.
It's a
Yeah,
few
he
other
had
people.
a
Yeah.
sports assembly or something.
Yeah.
He called it.
And they trying to do something like trying to get rid of it altogether.
regulate.
Yeah, they trying to get rid of it.
So how do the
that's
universities
out
make
the
all
bag
that
now.
money and you struggling to survive and you can't get paid? And some
But
people
see,
got paid.
the crazy part to me is that you got guys that are making like the bouncer $8 million, but we don't know what the rest of that team.
Right.
That's what I'm getting ready to
getting
ask.
Everybody don't get that money.
No.
They don't.
That's what I'm saying.
No.
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 You don't
That's
pay
what I'm
the whole
saying.
squad.
That's
No.
why-
Right.
I'm giving you a
The
scholarship.
It
The,
gets
the,
lower
gotta
and
start
lower
elite
and
play,
lower.
the
The
elite
elite players get you,
Right.
and you know if you're not that good, you get a scholarship. You
Right.
should be glad you got that.
Right.
You're not paying for your education.
Right.
It ain't like the whole team gets paid.
Right,
No,
the whole
no,
team
no,
don't
no.
That's the
Okay.
question I was gonna ask.
No, no,
But
no.
that
Well, according to Todd, he acting like he paying out the money. No, he ain't getting
but
he ain't getting paid.
but that's why them
the
college
scholarship
kids
and
are
like-
trying to get unionized so that
Yeah,
they do
can
get
get it.
something besides just the scholarship money. Because I understand that your talent is going to legislate how much money you're going to get paid, but you're still on the team. And if
Right.
one guy's worth $8 million and I'm sitting on the bench, I should be able to get $100,000.
Right.
Right.
I shouldn't be getting nothing
Right. No, I
besides just
agree.
a scholarship.
I tell you,
Because he gets a scholarship and the $8 million.
Right. I tell you a funny story. When I went to school, and I never forget sitting down with the athletic director, and he was talking over, about the scholarship and whatever. And he was like, "Yo, don't go back and talk to nobody on the team because we giving you a full scholarship. We not giving everybody ain't getting
Right,
full
right.
scholarship. So don't go back telling the rest of the play what you got, that you getting a free ride because everybody ain't getting a free ride."
Mhm.
And it's like I
Wow.
left out of there. Yeah, this when I went to college, and I went out of there and I'm like, wow, it's a dirty game, man.
Mhm,
It's a dirty game.
Okay, I'm
You
I
know,
got the thing here for-
and
I'm sorry. go ahead.
no, but I'm saying, and on the flip side of that, I remember times when we was at school and guys were broke and had no money.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? And they on campus and we was
They
4
had
hours
that
away.
meal
I don't know,
plan.
and they starving.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean?
It shouldn't be
it's
that
tough.
way.
No,
Nope.
it was tough, bro. It was
So,
really
but
tough.
what about the players that got money under the table now? In other words,
Well, you definitely couldn't talk about that.
right?
Back
so-
in those days when they was giving
You get kicked off.
when they was giving that
Right.
money, and they was doing it. 'Cause
Right.
people are talking about that now.
See, that's the thing.
That's another thing. I don't know if you're hearing it.
right.
Some of the ex-players, like the professionals in them,
Yeah,
they were
yeah, I
talk-
seen
they're-
them talking
they're-
about it.
yeah, they're talking about that now.
Yeah.
Well,
How they was getting money under the
remember
table.
Spike
but,
Lee's He Got
Right.
Game? They was
right.
somewhat.
But you definitely couldn't
Or
talk
blue
about
chip.
that
Right.
while you was in the school.
Right.
That's
You
why
couldn't
what's
talk
name-
about that.
That's why Chris Webber and them other
Yeah.
dudes and the other dudes in that five didn't really
the
talk.
Fab
Right.
Five.
Right.
Right, he was getting money.
Right.
and
They, of course.
then
They-
when he got money, he kind of shunned the dude.
He wasn't
that-
looking out for the
right.
for
He
the other
So
shunned
they
guys.
the
told him
guy.
to be quiet. So
Yeah.
he
See,
trying to.
that's
So yeah, you couldn't talk about
that's
that. what you
that's
was
like
getting
the
under
double-edged sword of nil money.
Right.
Right.
Because at least with no money,
It's
it's
up
up
front.
front.
It's up
So
front.
everybody knows what people is getting.
Mhm.
Whereas back in the day, these guys was under the table.
Right.
And like Coach was saying, when Chris Webber left, they jerked the guy who was taking care of them
Right.
because he was acting like he was going to be their agent
Right.
after they got the pro money.
Mhm.
And they was like, nope, we not going to do that.
Somebody
So
yeah,
it's
was
like-
just talking about that now. I don't know if it was a football, the football player, the running back who used to play with Alabama who couldn't make the Colts, Richardson.
I
Oh, the
did
quarterback.
No, the running back,
no, the running back.
Richardson. He never.
Yeah.
He was like one of the first and second, third pick of the draft, and
I
he
know
never
you said
started.
Oh, yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
That little-
Cut.
He was just saying this week how they bought his mother a house,
Right.
was giving him like $40,000 a year, whatever. That was that hush money.
Right.
That because there was no NIL back then, but he's bringing that up now,
Mm.
like how all the money that they and you know who's that saving.
Saban.
You know what I'm saying?
Mhm,
But
mhm.
now he wanna
Trying to
squash
push-
everything
right,
now.
Right.
But he said, shoot, when I was in school, they bought my mother a house and they was giving me X amount of money every
Mhm.
year.
Right.
How you think I was able to stay there?
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
And,
So
and if, see, that was the thing, because if they got caught, the college got
Well, it
sanctioned.
was
Oh,
the
of course,
boosters.
the
The
sanctions.
boosters are the ones that pay it.
Right.
yeah, but they
right.
you still couldn't talk. They couldn't
Yeah,
be
right.
known.
You couldn't say
No,
nothing.
'cause that's
Because
one of
they
those-
knew.
That's-
Yeah.
The big time head coach, they act like they didn't know.
Right.
But
Right.
you know.
Right.
Yeah.
But they was
No.
taking scholarships away, and you wasn't going
But
into
what
the
was
tournament.
happening? They said, "Yo,
I remember all of that.
you want this guy? Okay, we'll take care of him. We'll hook him up.
Right.
You can recruit this guy. We'll get him for you and pay the money on the
Right.
side."
And most of the
Who
time,
was-
you had to
put it
take
in
care of their
somebody else's
family
name.
too.
Right.
Who was it? I think it's Marcus Dupree. He came to school and the next day he was driving around a brand new Camaro. And everybody's like, this
How'd
kid,
you get that?
he eating dirt yesterday
Yeah.
and he got a new Camaro today. That's how poor he was.
Yeah.
He was a poor kid, but he
Yeah,
had a
very
brand.
poor.
I
Soon as
can't
he got
answer
to
no
school-
questions on where this money came
Many
from.
of them said the same thing. Larry Johnson when they was at UNLV and shit.
Of
Guys
course,
pulling up the clubs and the guys at University of Miami.
right.
Please.
All
Oh,
them guys.
all them guys is
Right.
Please.
Yo, anybody got the swear cup? Because it gotta stop. If you don't really know what you're saying, it's bad.
S-H-I. You done
Come on,
said it
bro.
3
Come on.
times.
Come on. Come on.
Okay.
Oh, I
Stop.
thought you said University of Miami. That's a curse word.
Don't. Try. No, let's
I'm
not.
just joking,
Let's not
kid.
repeat on what you said. All right.
I'm just joking, man.
Yo,
Slow down.
oh man, that is hilarious.
Sure enough is.
But anyway, yeah,
it's
that,
a dirty.
it was a dirty game. It was. Now it's
and
a
like you
little
said,
cleaner.
So yeah, it's a little cleaner, but it's still dirty.
Yeah, because cats ain't.
Now you figuring
It's
out
up
other
front.
ways to
It's
be
up front,
dirty.
and it's still dirty.
Right.
And the thing is that basketball and football that's really manipulating the whole thing, because the problem with college is that you got 25 other sports that people don't get no money for.
Right.
And they lucky if they got a scholarship. You could be on the bowling team. See, they trying to get to the point where everybody get a piece of the pie.
Right.
And I can see that, because you going to college and even if you had a little sport like, well, I say volleyball is not a major sport, but it's on TV
It's
all the
coming.
time,
It's coming.
and people's watching it,
It's coming.
and them kids ain't getting paid the kind of money that
Right.
the other kids get paid. I mean,
Well,
fair is fair.
it's
You as a college
amazing
athlete,
that-
let them get some money.
Yeah.
I agree with them. They should be a
I was
union.
just reading this. They was talking about the Duke team. They're getting roughly 8 to 10 million to build their roster for the team.
And how much Cam get?
They didn't say.
Half of that.
So that's every year?
So is
No,
it
it's
fair?
just per year. Yeah. every
Oh,
year.
annual. Wow.
Because I think St. John's like 20 million.
So is it fair that
Wow.
the bigger schools get the larger amount of money
But-
so
but
they get
that's
the
where
better
they need to
brand
regulate.
players?
Right.
Well, see, it depends on like Sir said before. Is the money coming in from the booster? Who's giving you? If you
Right.
got the boosters who's giving you that money
Well,
to build your team.
think
Not-
about Duke being the number one school all the time, and they get the best quality players
Sure
to
enough.
come to their school.
Sure enough.
So of course their payroll is going to be higher.
Well,
Would you just look at BYU?
Nah.
BYU's not a top national school all year, but they got the bouncer who was the best player because they gave $8 billion
One of the-
because the Mormon church is rich
yes.
and they could put money into their school.
one of the top.
So it's all about who you got backing you, because like St. John's got that guy with vitamin water.
Right. Yeah.
He's putting a lot of money into their school. If
And
you
look who
got
they brought
big
in. You know they're
boosters,
paying him big good money.
Who's that?
Patino.
Oh, yeah.
You know
yeah,
they paying
and they
him
just
good
gave him a
money.
new contract.
Yeah.
Right. And like
I wouldn't let him go.
Kentucky was one of the biggest. They had one of the biggest payrolls as far as bringing that NIL as
They
far as
got-
basketball. Kentucky basketball.
Yeah, because they got big boosters in
Right, they
Kentucky.
got
You
big
kidding me?
And they're going
But
to
they
get
got money.
a share this on
But-
NCAA tournament, too.
By the same token, you would think that Kentucky would have had more money than Arkansas, but Arkansas got oil money,
Right.
Yeah.
and that's why John Calipari left
Went
there.
Kentucky
Yes.
and went to Arkansas.
Follow
and
the
you
money.
would think that was a
Right.
lower
Bad
move,
move,
but it's
right.
not.
Nope.
Right.
And that's why Saban was complaining, because when he had the illegal thing going on, he had the best team in the country
Right.
because he could manipulate that money the way that he wanted to.
Right.
But now you got Texas, you got Texas A&M, you got
Yeah.
Oklahoma, you got all these oil-rich
Mhm.
states
Yep.
that got big boosters, and Alabama's dirt poor.
Yeah.
Alabama,
true.
Mississippi,
That's
Louisiana,
true.
Right.
they have a hard time getting the cats now because all them oil-rich states is bringing in all the better players.
Yeah.
Well, Texas always had money.
Yeah, but I'm saying, but now is like the gap
The
is
gap
bigger.
is bigger. Right. The gap is much bigger.
Well, Texas is a big state
It's
anyway.
Right.
It's a money state because you got it starts from high school.
Yes.
Friday nights, bro. That's all you
Right.
at in
Mhm.
Texas.
And them football.
You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Football, yeah, from
all
Friday
football,
nights.
Right.
From high school is big.
Right.
College is big.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So yeah, it's deep, man. That Texas is deep.
Excuse me, Miss Chocolate Dip is here.
uh-oh.
He's in the building.
Put him on the camera. Put him on the camera. Homegirl want to see him.
Yeah, they blow you up as soon as you come in, bro.
Yo, I gotta big him up after I messed him up 2 weeks ago. So I gotta big up him. I'm big upping you, kid.
But yeah, it's something, man. It's something. But
Where's my laugh, man?
I don't know what they did.
No, get out of here with
That was him.
That was G.
Oh,
That was G. G did the beatbox.
Yo, where's
Y'all thought that
My-
came for the get out.
Is he on?
It sounds just like
yeah,
it.
I was playing.
Wow.
It is on.
Yeah, that was good.
That
That was
was
good.
good, Mousy.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
It's on.
Oh man,
I don't know.
too much. But this
All
gonna
right.
be this is gonna be a very good, I think, tournament
I'm
though.
looking at.
I thought it was gonna be a very good tournament.
It should be.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Should
very
be
good.
competitive.
I mean,
Yeah.
we always, I don't think any tournament since I've been watching has ever disappointed.
No,
You always got the buzzer beaters. You always got the Cinderellas.
Right.
Do you
Every
think?
year.
Do you think it's gonna be a lot of Cinderellas this year? No.
No, I don't think a lot.
What
no.
about upsets? Like, so could we go over the top number one teams, like in each region?
Who's gonna get bumped? Who,
Yeah.
You talking about who? How far they gonna go?
There's 4 number ones, right? So,
Name the number one. Name the 4 number ones.
Michigan,
All of them ain't getting it.
Michigan,
Duke.
Duke, Arizona, and I forget who the 4th one is. Who's the 4th one, y'all?
Look it up right now.
Michigan, Duke, Arizona,
Duke.
Dude.
who was the 4th one?
Is it Florida?
Florida.
Florida.
Florida, right?
Florida.
How'd I forget Florida? They,
They
won
they,
last
they
year.
getting bumped. They not making it back.
You don't think so?
No,
Oh, they tough.
they are tough, but they ain't making it back. They had
Who's in their bracket?
Clemson.
I think Arizona and Duke
Vanderbilt.
is gonna be the only 2 number ones to go to the final.
Who?
Four. Arizona and Duke.
so it's safe to say those are in your final 4. Those 2 are
Houston's
included.
in their bracket too.
Is in what bracket? With Florida?
Florida.
They going.
Well,
Houston
they
big.
they beat Houston last year.
Yeah, I
Well,
think Houston.
we
will get
talking
them
about
year.
this year. Who
Did
cares
they
about
finally
last
win
year?
the championship?
Yeah.
Yeah, they
last
won the
year.
championship.
As Hofstra and LIU, where are they?
LIU's
One and
playing
done.
Arizona.
One and done.
Yeah.
Both of them are one and done.
And Queens is out of North Carolina.
Yeah,
That's
they from North
I
Carolina.
have never heard of them. Never seen them play.
I think I heard of them before, but I couldn't find where they
Who-
I
were.
thought they was from Farmers.
Who's
Me too.
who
Me too.
who is Miami, Ohio playing? Who's
Yo,
they
I
playing?
don't think they
SMU.
No, they
yeah,
made
they
it.
playing SMU
Yeah,
in
yeah.
the playing
And
game.
Nah, they made
They're in the
it.
playing game.
Yeah, they made
And
it.
excuse me,
They in the
if
playing
they're
game on
performers,
Tuesday
they
or
be
Wednesday.
Going far, yo. Stand up.
I was looking for them and I didn't see it.
Yeah, if
Yeah, they
they,
made it.
the
So,
winner of that game
I-
played Tennessee.
I'm confused about the playing game. How do teams that have a good seed number be in the playing game?
Because it's a small school, and they usually you didn't win. You might have won your regular season. You didn't win your
No, I get that,
Tournament.
but isn't Miami, Ohio like 11 in the bracket? Ranked they're number 11, right? Like how are they 11?
It can't
And
be 11 if you're making a play-in game.
Yeah, that
No,
was,
they
I'm
could
gonna
be.
tell you.
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah, they could be.
That's so. How do you
Yeah.
decide what?
I think it was disrespectful for what they did with them. Me myself, I think it's disrespectful.
Was it because they were
You,
undefeated?
you on
They
camera?
ain't played
But they-
nobody tough.
but-
It-
but-
but listen,
If you look at
your
this
division
tape-
is your division. You don't.
That's
I'm
true.
You
talking
don't.
outside
That's
your
true.
division.
Yeah,
But-
you
but-
can't-
but
you
Todd,
know what I'm saying?
but
I can't
Todd,
help.
That's
that-
like you say your division.
St.
You
John.
playing a ACC schedule, you playing a Big 10 schedule, you playing a Big 12 schedule, and then you playing whatever division they in, and that's like playing Division II basketball compared to playing with those big.
I
kids
know they
playing.
not that strong. I know they, but
And they
but
didn't,
it's
not
even
play
though.
not one team in the top 25.
Hey,
the
can
whole
I
season.
say this?
Yeah.
No,
I get it, but if
the
to
team-
go undefeated in any division you play in,
The-
it's a feat.
The-
Yeah, but they
You know what
lost.
I'm saying?
They should have won the tournament. Then
The
they would have had a more
teams-
big argument.
no team wants to play them. No team in the top 25 is going to play them and make them in their schedule. They don't. What I'm going to play? They're not.
Wait. At the beginning of the season, nobody thought.
No,
ever had
what
one
I'm
of these
saying is
undefeated.
No.
right.
So
So
that's what I'm
no
saying.
one's when they making a schedule up, they ain't going, oh, let me play them. Because you making a schedule where you trying to get quality wins to help you to get to the
Right.
tournament. I wouldn't pick them to play them if I was
Why not?
Why? What is Duke
What
getting
he's
out of
saying
playing?
is they're not going to help them.
They're not
play
gonna help
them.
Duke.
It's not going to help.
It
me
ain't
get
gonna
in the
help
tournament.
Duke
That's what he's
if
saying.
they play them.
Yeah, you make they're there. Like let's say.
I'm talking about in regular
I'm
season.
gonna show you how it goes. Like the schedule is made up 2 years ahead of time. It's not making up that year before. It's not.
Okay.
Okay, like Patino, this particular year, they schedule a lot of SEC schools, right? And they lost a lot of. They played
They
Alabama,
lost all of them.
right? They lost to Alabama. They lost to who else?
Kentucky,
and
few teams.
a
I
few
wrote
teams.
it
They lost to
down.
Iowa State, which is not SEC. They
Ohio
lost to
State's a
them.
good team.
Huh? Iowa State's a real good team
this year.
But that's what hurt them. Even though they won
Right.
the Big East, Connecticut is rated higher because they won. They beat Florida. They beat some of them top teams and whatnot early in the season. They
Yeah.
beat
Right.
them. So that helps. Like, what do you call it? Quad one. What do you call them?
Quad one
Quad
wins,
one
yeah.
type teams. They beat them. Well, St. John's didn't beat them. St. John's won in the Big East, but outside of that, they didn't really beat any big teams.
Right.
So the Miami Ohio, like you scheduling games, like let's say I went to Duke and I got the job at Miami Ohio. Then they might schedule it because they know it's going to help me. They ain't going to help Duke, but it'll help my team recruit.
Oh, true.
But that's how those teams do that. You know, they do stuff like that. You know?
Okay.
Well, most of, like you said too. Anyway, most of those guys, most of that, like Serge said, those schools that play weak schedules, like we don't even never hear them
Like
or
Georgia
whatever.
used to do that stuff all the time.
You have to win your tournament
Tournament.
to get in the league
Right.
to get it to
For
get
the
a
most
seed.
part.
Yeah, for
Right.
the most part. But
Because-
other than that, you're not going to get an outright bid
Because to be
because
honest,
you're a weak division.
they got two teams because of the fact that they lost their tournament and they was 31-1. Because if they'd have been 28-3 or 28-4, they wouldn't have gotten in the
No.
tournament.
Right.
And a
They
matter of
wouldn't-
fact, they being that they lost their tournament, whoever won that tournament
It's the team that's
would
in too.
have never been in there
Right.
if they would have won it.
It'd
Right.
been one team.
Yeah,
going
Right.
they
in.
would.
They-
Yeah,
they are
there's only
one-
been one
They
team
are
going
one
there.
team,
Yeah.
just like Howard
Howard.
is
Play-
Right.
Tennessee
And stuff
State.
like
Right.
Right. Those
right.
kind of teams that
So
play in those
They
divisions,
caught some.
they one team for the most part. They very rarely get two teams
Right,
in.
you won't get two. So they caught somebody for not getting in. And speaking on that, I didn't hear the bubble. Who was teams that they felt should have got in who got snubbed? I
Indiana
didn't hear.
got snubbed.
Indiana
and,
got snubbed.
who was it?
I can't remember the snub team.
Yeah, they had the last four. I can't remember
Seton
who the last
Hall.
four.
Did Seton Hall get in?
No. Only
I don't think
Villanova and
Okay, just-
UConn and
just-
St.
just-
John's.
Seton Hall was a
But
snub 'cause they
getting
had a
back to
chance. Yeah.
what Greg said, that years ago, Gonzaga was in the same boat that Miami of Ohio was
They
in.
had to win their division.
They had to win, and they had to win divisions, and slowly but surely, they finally got teams to schedule them, and they started playing against better
Good
teams, and they got better by
Mhm.
beating some of those better teams, and that's how they grew their reputation. Because when Gonzaga was first coming in, nobody even knew where Gonzaga was.
Right.
Now they're a major player,
Yeah, they are.
Right.
Yeah, they are.
but
Yeah.
you have to build that reputation up.
What's that
So-
school in Hawaii? Every time somebody used to go out there, they
Chaminade.
Chaminade. Chaminade used to beat some.
They
big
beat
teams
Virginia
like
when
that.
they was number
Right.
one. They was a 16 seed
Right.
to beat
Right.
Virginia.
Did I didn't see the whole breakdown.
And they're a Division II school.
Yeah.
Did Auburn get in?
No,
No.
they're another one that got snubbed.
Yeah, I thought Auburn.
It's always some teams that get snubbed.
Of course, it's always
Oh.
going to be 60-15 or 69th
Well,
team.
how many Division One schools are there? Like 200 and something,
Oh,
Yeah, I
a
think it's
lot.
300.
and only
Yeah,
six,
300,
and
three
only
something.
60 something people
Right,
get in.
68.
That's why they added the extra 4.
It used to be less than that.
It used to be
It
32.
used to be 48.
It's
Right.
like 30.
It
Right.
started
Right.
30,
And
30,
32,
yeah.
right.
So, do you think they should add more things to the
no,
bracket?
good
That's
right
big
where
enough.
it's at.
I think
It's big enough.
Yeah, I think it's good right where it's
They
at.
play less regular season games and then add more people to the
A
tournament.
lot of
Nah,
times,
ain't
adding
gonna
more
help.
doesn't make it better.
Well, see,
Okay.
you get these super like the Big Ten now got all these the Pac-12. I mean, back the Pac-10, Pac-12, whatever it was.
Right.
They got all them schools is over there now, so that's
Right.
a mega
Mega
conference.
conference,
yeah.
Stuff, man. You know.
Right. Pretty soon it's going to be 4 major conferences,
Right.
and everybody else
with
is
20
gonna be,
20 teams
Teams
in,
on each
in,
one.
in each
Right.
one.
and 10 to 12 teams from each of them conferences going to get in the tournament.
Yeah, so
What,
it's
the
crazy.
SEC got 2 divisions, right?
Because right now I think they got 35 out of 69 are from the 4 conferences, so they got half the schools that's in between the Big 10, the Big 12, the ACC, and the SEC. They got 35 out of 69. They got more than half the teams in because they're superpowers.
It's crazy.
All right. So, are you ready to drop your 4 teams that you think gonna make it, or any upsets off the rip that anybody wanna care to discuss? or and shout out to LIU and
Hofstra.
Hofstra, right? So that's Speedy Claxton's team and Rod Strickland's team, and then everybody's rooting for St. John's to go as far as they could go, be national champions.
I'll
but-
stick with them until they get
I root for all Big East teams.
Yeah, until they get bumped.
So yeah.
You got to look at some of those like 2s against 15s. You get some surprise games with that. Early knockouts. Sometimes it seems like it's been happening every year.
That's the way it
That-
seems, but
yeah.
if you look it up,
Or 12 or
they
5.
only
12,
had- it's
5
only-
against 12.
one
That's
one
St.
against
John.
16's only been twice, and 1 and 2 against 15's only been like 8 times in the whole. It just seemed that way, but it really doesn't happen that often.
Isn't the
But-
5
but it
against
seems
like probably lately.
Me and my grandson's been going through it yesterday because he was asking me how many times has this team beat that team, and I looked up all of them. It gets a little tighter when you get to 5 versus 12,
12,
and
right.
6 versus 11.
Right.
Then it's like 60-something teams, 60-something times they have 50-something times. But them 13, 14, and 15,
Usually,
16,
yeah.
For the most part,
They usually go.
it's
the
like
way
a
it
1%
goes.
chance
They
that you're gonna get.
schedule.
Yeah,
They
you
one
go
and
home.
done.
Right, you lucky to be in, go home.
You have a question? Go ahead.
Just
Yeah.
just like the different, because you got the different divisions, if you call it that.
Right.
How do you determine like the top college team? Because you have some teams that actually have winning records, and they are very, very good,
They go by
and they don't get nothing at the end of the day.
They
Like,
get by the ranking, like
the
how,
vote.
how
It's a
who they
ranking,
play
but
outside of your division, outside of your teams that's in your division. Like we were just talking about, Miami of Ohio had an undefeated season.
mhm.
They lost in the
final,
in the finals of their tournament.
And when you look
So now you get an automatic bid.
Well, they didn't
if you
lose in the
win your-
finals.
if
They
you
lost
win
the
your
first
tournament.
round.
But why do you have to bid? that That's what- that's the what- thing. I mean, if your team is top ranked, like if
It's
you're
not
the
top
best
ranked
of the
because
best
they
out
didn't play
there,
nobody really.
No,
Right.
if you're
Outside of that.
if you're talking about the rankings, like
who,
throughout the year,
who determines that? It's
They
a
got-
vote.
They
it's a
got
vote.
schedule.
What people
Actually,
vote.
actually, they
got-
got
they got
three.
a committee.
They got 3 different. One is Ken Palm. I forget the name of the other 2, but they analyze each and every game
Strength of
based
schedule.
on strength of schedule
Yeah.
and
Right.
the opponents that you're playing, and they rank those teams in.
Okay,
as
these
according-
people that are part of these committees, are they true basketball people?
Yes, all of them.
Okay.
All of them.
Okay.
They ADs from different schools.
Yeah.
They know the sport.
So they know the sport.
Right,
They know the sport.
Yes,
fundamentals of the
yes,
game. And all
they
that
have
stuff
to.
Like that. Okay. No,
No,
that was
but
good. The
number
same
8.
thing. If something came up in college football, the same thing. The rankings, how a team would go, and have just one particular loss at the end of the season, and then don't make it into the big one. Like they're just left out.
Well, football was a little different because before it was just the top 4,
Right.
but now they expanded to 12.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So it's a little different. More people are getting in now.
No, that was my.
So,
I was
so
just curious.
this the deal.
But it's people that know the sport
If-
and been involved in the sport for a long time that do these rankings.
If you got a team that don't play anybody and they records like 31-1 versus a team that
What's
played
that?
4 teams that's ranked, you know what I'm saying? And they like 28-7, they might get a higher bid because they played 4 or 5 ranked teams
The
that's
strength
ranked.
of schedule. Strength of schedule.
Okay. All right, talk to us, Brother Green. What's going on, Ant?
Man, listen, man, I'm just calling up here. I hear y'all talking about all that, college football, college basketball stuff. That ain't my thing. But I'm supporting y'all brothers like always, man. It's good to see all y'all in the house. And Darryl, thank you for coming up, bro, to add a little bit more darkness in that room and help out with Todd. You know what I mean? It's a little bit too light in there. Glad to see all y'all up there in the full effect up there in the house, man. But I would like to say this thing about I don't know much about college. College, I don't really follow the kids until they really get ready to come out in their last year or when they just get into the pros. But I will say this about the college thing. The money ain't adding up right for those kids because there's a lot of money involved. Not just those big teams. I mean, like you always have those big teams, the UConns and all those other teams, but the money's still not adding up because for the same thing, Charles Barkley spoke on it once, and so did Stephen A. Smith. No, he didn't speak on it. Charles Barkley spoke on it, and I forgot the guy that's up there with Shaq and him. He spoke, Kenny Anderson, Kenny Smith. They spoke on it also, Kenny Smith. When that money comes from TV revenue, the owners from pros take the TV revenue money and pay all these big name players in the pros. So when that money comes from the TV revenue for the college, like y'all get ready to get this, the big 16, the college games, all the stuff. Where's all that money going to?
The school.
Is it going back to these colleges? And which colleges is actually getting it? Because even though your college is not a big name college, but your college is in these sports, shouldn't that money be divided equally amongst those colleges to trickle down? Because you got to remember, even with these colleges, I would say the likeness of these players on the games, the NCAA games, football and basketball, these colleges, they get a lot of money there, and they get a lot of money from all the stuff, and they selling a lot of product and stuff like that. It's about time the players got paid, but I want to see how is it being divided equally amongst all the teams and the players.
Well, I want
Because
to
it worked
stop
for
you
that
right
one
there.
player
That's
that
not going to
stepped up.
happen.
Well, I was gonna ask you this question, Ed. When was anything
Sure.
ever done equally?
I know
Okay.
it has never been done equally,
And it won't.
but I'm saying I'm saying
Answer your
at
question.
this day and age, right now, I'm saying at this day and age, right? If you got a good college program and a good basketball program, and that money is coming in, and the TV revenue money is coming in, and if the players wasn't getting this money throughout all these years, well, where was that money actually going? And who's getting that money? I understand that they say they went back to the alumni and they went back to schools because these kids are getting free education. Yeah, but that we talking over the billions of dollars, or all this money is being shared with these TV, because the TV don't put they don't put those games on for free.
No, they pay the schools, but you got to listen to this. If you know anything, I
Right.
know you said you don't keep up with it, but you got a school like Notre Dame. They don't belong to no
Right.
conference. They're independent. They have an independent contract with NBC. So when NBC pays them, guess who keeps all the money?
Notre Dame.
Thank you.
Notre Dame.
All right. So that's how that
Okay.
goes.
So now
So
Now,
Go ahead.
if we're saying if that's an independent contract, right,
yes.
with Notre Dame, remember, this was years ago when the owners in the Major League Baseball they sued George Steinbrenner years ago because they was suing him because they were like, wait a minute, y'all playing the Yes Network, and yes, y'all have your own TV screen with the Yes Network, but y'all playing our teams. We want a share of that revenue because it's not like y'all have the Yes Network and y'all playing yourselves. Y'all playing other baseball teams, which falls into Major League Baseball. So why are we not getting part of that Yes Network money? So it ain't like Notre Dame is playing themselves. They playing other big name schools as well. So why isn't this money being shared?
Well, hold on.
And where is the money going? Where
Hold
is
on,
that
Green.
money actually going?
Hold on, Green. So, were they successful in suing, or did they go out and get their own networks? Because I think most teams. have
I
their
think
own-
they all went out and got their own networks, but I think they were successful in suing. I'm not sure. You got to ask the baseball pro right there. Serge, do you remember that?
Revenue sharing comes in.
What's that? I'm sorry.
Do
He
you
paid
remember-
mad attention to
Do you
you.
remember? You remember when the Yankees first came out with the Yes Network,
Right.
and George Steinbrenner was still alive, and the owners of the Major League Sports baseball, they went after the Yankees because they were saying all that money is supposed to be split equally because it ain't like the Yankees was playing themselves. They're playing Major League Baseball. So if you're playing Major League Baseball and you're creating your own network, then why are we not getting part of that thing? Because you're playing my team. So do you remember who won that lawsuit? I think the Yankees had to split some of that dough with them.
You know what? I'm gonna be real honest. I'm gonna have to look that one up because I thought that yes money was just for the Yankees, just like SNY.
It was
just
because
for the
when
Mets.
they made it, they was one of the first teams that came out with their own Yes Network. You know,
You know what?
when they started expanding these teams out, and these teams started saying, "Well, wait a minute, we can come out with our own network, and we can come out and have our games broadcast here." Remember, all the major networks, TV shows, they got to pay to the owners a percentage
Right.
on how much money of these games are going to be paid. You know, the owners split up the money because when everybody get a contract, they say, well, who's going to have the World Series this year? Not everybody can have the World Series on the same every channel. 1, 2, 4, 7, and one of them, they bid for it and they get it. That money goes towards the owners. And then also, sometimes you look at baseball and basketball, sometimes these shows are all being played on different networks. So they're all pooling into the owners, and they're sharing that money. But when the Yankees came with the Yes Network first, the owners got mad because they were like saying, "Wait a minute, you just can't create your own network and we don't get a piece of that
Well,
pie."
you right. They do. They have all teams that have their own network. According to this, pay 48% of whatever revenue they get to the rest of Major League Baseball. So the Yankees do pay out 48%. They have to.
Right, because even though that's their network, they still had to pay out. I can't remember what was the settlement was all on because the owners was pissed off. The owners was pissed off because they were like, "Wait a minute, you just can't just." We get money from Channel 4 and we broadcasting games.
I get what you're saying.
Y'all.
No, I hear what you're saying. But my thing is,
right,
you should follow what I did. If you don't like it, get your own network.
Right.
You know what I'm
That's
saying?
That's what they did.
Yeah, but no, I understand what they say. They got to pay a certain percent to do that. But then it's again, not every team can afford their own network.
Exactly.
Because certain teams make so much money.
But
and
that's
other
why
teams
they went
don't.
after the Yankees.
You know
for
what I
it.
mean?
But
That's almost like, and I hear what you say. That's almost like, and I think this is crazy. I don't even know how to keep track of it. But you know, when you play in sports and you play for a team, and depending what the schedule is, you go to these different cities and play. They tax you according to the city you playing in.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And I think that's the most craziest thing.
Right.
You get taxed in every city that you play in.
Right.
You got to pay a tax to play in that city.
And I can see if the Yankees is playing the Baltimore Orioles, obviously the Orioles is on their channel, so they're gonna want some of that money.
Correct.
That's
No, I
being
get it.
generated.
correct.
I get it, 'cause
Correct.
they see-
And
they
that's
see
why
the money they make.
I'm saying, even though when Todd just mentioned that Notre Dame got their own thing, I'm like, wait a minute, y'all ain't playing yourselves now.
Right.
And we already splitting this money, from the TV. You got to give me a piece of that pie.
Right.
Because that pie got to be right for me.
Yeah, but what
Even
they don't
though
have to do,
we get it,
what they don't
that
have to
y'all blowing
do,
us out every time we play y'all, but you still got to get a piece of that pie. That
but
pie
what
got to eat.
they probably
You
got to
got to
pay
have the
something
pie,
on
right.
that. But what they don't got to do, what the other leagues do, because they have more schools, they don't have to pay into a conference. They don't have to do no revenue sharing
Right.
with a conference
Right.
because they're not in a
Oh,
conference.
okay.
Because they're
So
independent.
that makes sense for them then.
Yeah.
And so
and also, I believe in college games, when you play your home team, you usually pay the visiting team a certain amount of money to come into your
Come
school,
to your school.
Right.
unless it's a conference game. For non-conference games,
Right.
they pay these guys.
Right.
So
Right.
Notre Dame not being in a conference, they probably pay
Pay
a
the
couple of
school.
$1 million to
Yeah.
all these schools to come in to play against them.
Right. Now, you see all this money that I'm just talking about, just from college alone? That's why I'm saying, until somebody steps in and regulate, because all those colleges in those different states, they got those senators and everybody else in their back pocket to mind your business.
oh,
They got them all in the back pocket to mind your business. Don't come in here asking questions you need not to ask.
let me add this on because Lonnie posted this. He said the Yankees wasn't sued by MLB. They were sued by Cablevision when the Yankees was on MSG
Or they left.
to block
They
the
left.
creation
Okay.
of the
Yeah.
network.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, so
Yeah. 'Cause they wasn't
that
on
was
MSG.
part of
Right.
Yeah.
the rift, but eventually, like the NBA, they all do profit sharing with the networks. So they definitely not in the business of losing on the money end. When you
No,
think about it,
of
like,
course
like the
not.
NBA's
Of course not.
signed an
When dollars
agreement
make sense, it
for
makes sense.
$77
It's
billion
just like,
for 11 years. So
Yeah.
you got to think about it. That 30 teams gonna at least get $2 billion apiece, and then there's the excess of 17 billion, which going to Kitty. Definitely don't go back to the fans. I know that much.
Somebody's pocketing that.
Right, because if college is generating this much money, and I mean March Madness is coming right here, right now, and they're getting all of this money from the TV revenue and everything else. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, it has to be a point to where these young kids in college really, and I mean fairly, because I heard what y'all was saying, that some of these kids is getting money and the other kids is on the team ain't getting no money like that. So it's like, it got to be somewhere fairly and say, you know what, if you make this division and you're playing on this team, and if you are a starter, you get this much. If you make that division and you're on this team, and even if you're not a starter, you're still entitled to a certain amount of money that's coming to you along with your education at the scholarship that you're in, because it's only right. And I'm just saying that even if you're not a Villanova team, but you in that Villanova conference, your team might not be as great, but okay, you still playing Villanova, and Villanova kicking your butt. You should get paid for it.
Now, what are you saying? Is you saying the conference is regulating that, or each team, each school?
I'm saying that it should be regulated. I'm not saying the conference is regulating it. I'm saying that the money should be regulated and shared. Rather, your team
I hear
is
what
not
you say. I think it's
equally
a school.
dispersed.
Yeah,
though.
because everybody's not getting the same amount of money.
Right, they're not.
Each
It's
school
not
is
the-
not-
You mean the player, or are you saying the player or
school.
the
the
school?
player
The
and the
school.
school, if you want to be technical.
The school, each school doesn't get the same amount of money to pay the players. The NIL. Not every school, the money's different.
Same thing with the
It's not the
school
same.
conference.
Yeah, it's not the same amount.
I think
Each school
Right.
is not
That's
getting
what I'm
the same.
saying. That's what I'm saying. It should be fair amount of money that goes to everybody, because even though, and I'm just saying as I see it, even though you say the same amount of schools are not getting the same amount of money, but at the same time though, if it's all five of us right now have college teams and we all in the same division, regardless if coach team is better than my team, and regardless of whoever team is better, but we all in the same division, and we all playing each other and everything else, that money should be split equally. Because then, when you split it equally amongst the teams, then the teams can go back and say, okay, when you are starting five, you get this amount.
All right,
When you're coming off the bench, you get this amount.
Hold on 1 second, Green. We got a rebuttal.
Hey, Green,
Sure. Yeah.
you go into a barbershop. You go into your same
Correct.
barbershop. You see 8 barbers in the chair. And there's one barber
Correct.
that got a whole line of people waiting on him. Who's going to
Correct.
get your money?
Well, you know what?
No.
You always
Who's going
come
to
with
get your
something
money?
philosophical.
You gonna wait on that?
Tiny, I'm gonna actually meet me outside after this show.
I say that. No.
Now listen.
No,
Tiny,
listen.
now you got to be honest.
Uh-huh.
We talking about a whole different level of skill set here now. You talking about a barber?
No.
who's cutting hair
Everybody
and
in that
gonna charge a
barbershop
certain
got
amount of money.
Wait, no,
but
Green.
he's still paying for
Green.
his shit.
Everybody in that
Correct?
everybody in that barbershop
Everybody
got a
gotta
barber
pay their own-
license.
Everybody got to pay the chair. Got to pay the same price in the chair. Correct?
They do.
Yeah.
All right. So
One guy-
Yeah,
even
if
though
he
the
wants to
barber
chair,
making more money than the others, everybody still got to pay the same amount as their chair, so they can get answers.
He's not doing no revenue sharing, though. He's not splitting up his money what he make with the rest of those barbers.
No,
he's
he's
not
not.
doing that.
He's not here. He ain't
not
doing no
doing that.
revenue sharing, but we all in here paying for our chair.
Oh, yeah.
Because, like you said, a barber, it don't matter if Mongo ain't cutting nobody hair and Mongo only paid $10. No. We all in here paying $150 a week for the chair, so we all
He
pay
gotta hope he
$150 a
get
week.
customers. But it's also go with
That's
these
correct.
colleges. With these colleges, they funded most of these colleges, and it's been like this even before the NIL money.
Right.
We was talking about it earlier. It's your boosters. It's the people that the alumni, whoever, those are usually your boosters who's funding money into your program. And that's how most of these, besides the TV packages, that's how these schools are getting their money.
Right.
Or back in the day how they was getting the players that they wanted because they was funneling that money under the table, and the boosters was giving them that money to get those players, and that's how it's always been.
Right.
So if you got whoever the boosters got the biggest pockets, who's
You remember that TV show? It's not even a TV show. It was a movie called Blue Chip.
Yeah, I remember.
right?
Yeah, with Shaquille O'Neal,
Right.
Right.
Correct. Correct.
Penny Hardaway, Nick Nolte.
That was part of like when I saw that kind of enlightened me towards how some of these big name colleges was coming through and how they was recruiting some of these players. But like I said, when I hear y'all and I'm listening and I'm like saying, yo, why these college kids is not getting they just do like everybody else should be getting they just do? Because for the simple fact that they don't want them to do endorsements and they don't want to start doing Nike commercials and all this other stuff. They want them to concentrate on school, but yet you're benefiting off of their names. Yet all these PlayStation games and all this other stuff comes in with these colleges. That's why when that kid sued, it's like, wait a minute, you're using my likeness. I want to get paid. So when they finally started opening the door, I think the door is open now. It should be wide open so everybody get a piece of the pie. Rather your team stink or not, whatever division that you fall into, if you're in a D1 school or whichever part of it is, everybody should get a piece of that pie.
Well, they can thank Ed O'Bannon.
Because there's a lot of pie out there. There's a lot of pie out there.
Like Todd said, everybody don't get the same amount. If you look at conferences, who would you think would get the most? I would think SEC is getting the most, even though they might have.
I think they are.
The SEC probably got
more money than anybody.
Right, but what I'm saying
I think they get the most because they the most broadband
like
broadcasters. They got broadcast.
I agree, but I agree. We need to clean this up. So, like, I'll give you a better example. So, why do some teams make more money than other teams?
Yeah.
Marketing.
If I remember correctly,
Is it marketing or is it they have a bigger following,
but they get
or they have a bigger payroll, or whatever it might be?
Are you talking about a pro or a college?
Hold up, I can't.
Say it again, Green.
Are you talking more? What David's asking, Dave, you asking more about a pro, or you talking about a pro team or a college team?
Well, you could look at it as pros, or you could look at it in college, because also the players, the top ranked players in college is gonna make more than somebody on the bench. They're gonna get more money.
They are.
So,
they are. That's why I'm saying.
And the universities are gonna. They're not. It's not gonna be equally distributed because bigger universities are bigger draws, and they get the top ranked talent coming to the school. So that's also like a marketing ploy. But like, if you think about it, most kids might go to the Dukes or the Floridas or the Michigan States or Arizona as opposed to the other schools. But then you have the other schools that are on the come up.
Most kids dream to want to go to the Dukes and the colleges because throughout all of these years, they look at what college give me the better chance of me getting into the pros. Because at the end of the day, these kids are not just playing just because they love basketball. They're playing because they're like, if I can get accepted and if Duke draft me, Duke take me in and say, yo, we want you here, and Duke get me here. I got the highest percentage of going to a Duke school and doing great and getting into a better program than going to a Nassau University or a Hofstra University. It's like,
so what I need to do?
They ain't gonna have a good draft.
What I need to do with you right now? Would you like to pick 4? Because we gotta let you go because we have too many softball conversations over here. We need to.
If I gotta pick a team, I really don't know what I'm picking. I'm just gonna be picking just to be saying that team right there. But the team that I am gonna pick right now, Tiny, 49ers going to the Super Bowl. Joey Bosa, we going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah. All right, so we gonna ask you to call back when the preseason start with the NFL.
I know who ain't going to the Super Bowl.
Be safe, bro.
Listen, they going to the Super Bowl just like everybody else on TV. watching it.
Big Ten has 18.
We're gonna talk to you
Y'all
later.
brothers be good, man.
All
All right, my
bro.
brother.
All
Thanks for
y'all up
calling
there.
always.
It's good to
Alright.
see all of y'all with the knowledge.
ACC and
Tiny,
Big Ten
Surge,
both
all of
have
y'all.
18.
All
Coach,
right, bro.
Mongo, Todd, all of y'all.
Don't
up there.
say Mungo.
Daryl Gars, I'm glad you made it up there. My man Greg, I know you're a Dallas Cowboy fan, brother, but keep hanging in there. Keep hope alive. Keep
I
hope
am.
alive.
I am.
Yeah, all right, man. We'll
Keep
have you
hope
call
alive,
back
man.
when the NFL start. All right, I'm gonna talk to you later. All right, peace.
All right, brother. Peace.
All right, yeah, let's do that.
Okay, I got some questions. Yeah, Greg,
Thank
do
you,
Oh,
your
G.
trivia.
gonna do
Greg
first
got a
one.
question.
All right,
All right.
he goes.
There's
Drake, let's start it off.
11 players in the NBA that scored from 70 points to 100. Can you name all 11?
David Robinson.
Will Chamberlain,
Yeah, that's 2.
David Thompson,
Yeah,
Kobe,
yeah,
Is Gervin on that list?
Ben Adebayo,
yes. Bam, no Gervin.
No Gervin.
when he do that?
Wilt Chamberlain.
Oh,
I said-
Devin Booker.
I was getting ready to
Devin
say
Booker.
I stole that from you. I looked on your sheet.
Yeah, somebody said Kobe already.
LeBron.
Yeah. No
no
LeBron.
LeBron.
What about Jordan?
No.
No.
How many? What's the
How
limit?
many we got?
11. You got. You said Will.
You said 70 and up.
Yeah.
70 and up.
You
Oh,
said
70.
Will, Bam, Kobe,
Thompson,
Booker.
Booker.
You said David Robinson, right, Dave?
Yes.
Right,
David Robinson.
right.
Do we say-
Shaq was mad.
Do we
Bird
say?
did 63. I don't
Do
know.
we say Elgin Baylor?
No, Elgin Baylor is 1. Yes. Go ahead.
Do we say Wilt again?
Wilt is.
Do
a
I mean
part of
do we?
11.
No, I thought he was like a repeat offender.
He is a repeat offender, but
All
he's one
But
person.
there is 11. Though.
Yes.
Did we mention
That's over.
Donovan
No,
Mitchell?
no, he did 11.
Donovan
Yeah,
Mitchell.
that's what- Oh, okay.
Donovan
Will
Mitchell.
did 11
Yes.
times.
All right, that was Lonnie Wheeler that said Donovan Mitchell.
Yes.
So I want to.
How many more we got?
1, 2, 2 more.
Are they still playing?
No.
Yep.
They still playing?
Yep.
Murray?
Nope.
One's
One's on my
Luka.
favorite.
Luka.
Team. No, one's on my favorite team.
Joel Embiid.
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 I remember that.
And
now.
the
Now
other
you say
one-
it. I remember.
Steph
Ed-
Curry.
No. The other one's a
Threes
guard.
gonna get you over?
Oh, my boy.
Kyrie?
No,
No.
from Portland.
Yes. There you
Damian
go. Damian
Lillard.
Lillard.
Damian Lillard.
Damn.
And
Yeah.
for the record, Wilt did it 5 times.
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, now back to Coach with the trivia.
That's a good one.
Hold up. Embiid scored how many? 71?
70.
Oh, he scored a solid 7.
Okay.
Him and Booker was 70. Baylor, Robinson, Mitchell, Donovan. Dave Tom was 71.
Oh,
David Thompson, Luka was 73. Kobe 81. Bam 83. And I don't know what the other ones in the 100
Yeah.
from thing. I don't remember which ones.
Okay.
What?
The lowest seed to win the championship. Yeah.
lowest seed ever.
Lowest seed to win.
6.
That's a hard one. Somebody go.
You want the team name?
He must have fell off. That was my cousin.
The team name?
The
Yeah,
team
because you
name.
said
Oh,
6.
I
right?
just said the
Bro,
what seed did.
tell me the number and the team.
Was it 6
No,
though?
it's not 6.
Villanova.
Villanova.
Villanova, yes, is the
8.
They-
I'm guessing.
Yeah. Yo.
That
Yo.
Yo, get out of here with that.
Yo, hello.
What's good in the Hood family? How y'all out there?
Oh, that wasn't my
Grace was
cousin.
Yo,
good.
welcome back.
What up,
Excuse me.
Matt?
Excuse me.
What's good? What's good?
All right, we doing a trivia question, man. So the next no. Being that you called the wrong time and you're not listening what's going on, you got to answer the next question. Let's go. Give it to him.
What team has the most appearances but has not won?
Throw him a
That's the
light.
most what?
The most
Get closer so he can hear you.
the most appearances, and they never got to a Final Four.
Purdue.
The most
Oh,
appearances
Final
in the
Four.
tournament, but never got to the Final Four.
In
Wow, never got
college,
to a Final Four.
No,
Most appearances in the tournament, but never got to a Final Four.
correct.
Never got to the Final Four.
St. John's.
No,
Purdue-
they've been,
Purdue?
they've been in Final Four.
Purdue.
I said Purdue already.
Purdue won it. They won it.
They've
Was it
been there.
Purdue?
They won championships. You can't go on
Never
two
won.
Yeah, they went to a Final Four.
He said North Carolina.
All right, so we was trying to get you to crack the answer, but like if you have you want a lifeline, you want a hint?
What division?
Yeah,
you
give
play?
me a lifeline.
Kurt don't know what the
What
lifeline is.
conference? You don't know the conference? they play?
I'm trying to remember the conference.
What?
They're
What?
on TV. They're on TV.
Well,
Are
what?
they in
So
the
what
west,
year
the
was it?
East, the North, the South?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's an
It's
accumulation.
accumulation.
Of years.
They've never been to
Accumulation.
the
Oh.
Final Four, but they have the most appearances
Appearances in the
without
tournament.
going to the Final Four.
Right.
No, Cino's been to the finals.
Yeah.
That's a tough one, man. That's a tough one.
Memphis State.
No.
You got to give me a
Memphis State been to
conference.
the finals.
You got to give me a conference. I'll
Could
probably
you
get
tell
mad.
us a region that they in? The West, the
That's what
South,
I'm
the
saying.
North, the East?
Like the Midwest.
No,
Kansas
Kansas
won.
won.
Have one.
Many times.
No.
No,
Many
they
times.
won.
They've won many times.
Y'all not getting to what he's trying to say.
He said never made it
they
to the
never
final.
made it to the Final Four.
Right.
Well, like,
Right.
Teams have all won, what y'all mentioning.
St. John's made the Final Four in the 80s, right?
Yes.
Yes.
They made the final.
he said it's in the Midwest, even though they playing out in San Diego, it
They
doesn't
in there
count.
right now? Are they in there in the
Wow.
tournament?
Yes, they're in the tournament.
No, y'all got y'all do your thing, man. I just hope St. John's make it to the Sweet 16.
No.
I'm
Right.
glad they won the Big East. They make it to the
Still
Sweet
trying to
16, I'd be
figure the
happy.
question out.
He's on
Alright.
the phone. You can't diss him.
He said he was getting off, though.
Oh.
Are you staying?
Oh, Matt, did you get the court?
Yeah. No, I'm gonna get it. I'm ordering it through Amazon.
Oh, you can get that at any store, man.
That's
All
a
right.
personal conversation.
Right, like, all right.
Stop playing.
All right.
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
All right, we'll talk. Y'all got to do your thing.
Okay.
All right, my brother.
All right, good to hear from y'all.
All
Peace.
right, bro. No.
West.
Is it a state?
Midwest.
Is it a state?
Yeah, they're in the tournament.
No, is it a state though?
No, it's not.
Like,
a state.
it's not an NC State.
Utah.
Okay.
No. They're in the tournament.
And Utah made the Final Four.
Yes, they did.
They did.
Yes, they
Yeah.
did.
I forgot
What's
what
that
they
guy?
Keith Horn.
Keith Van
When
Horn.
he was on the team, they made it.
Ooh.
Ohio State
No, they won
Yeah,
championships.
they won champions.
for final. Yeah.
West.
Who he said?
West.
No, not Penn
He
State.
said Midwest.
Midwest. Milwaukee. No. They won't get it. I tell you that.
All right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
why
I
you
don't
gonna
know
pick
what-
the question? if we ain't gonna
Montana
get it?
State.
Because it's
You
a
gotta give it-
known team.
He's been given easy.
It's a
All
known-
right. So who is
known
it
team.
then?
Huh?
Who is it?
Oregon.
We give up.
BYU.
Wow.
32 appearances. Never made to the final.
That was close. He
Hold
was
up,
somebody.
Danny ain't say take carried. No,
No,
I'm just-
they lost.
I'm just,
Wow.
That was
Oh,
good.
that's
That was,
Oregon.
No,
Danny
when
ain't
they had
put him on his shoulders.
when they had what's the name?
Danny Ainge.
Danny Ainge.
Right, but they never
But
made
they never
it.
made
Right,
to
they
the
never-
final four.
What's it called?
Did
Bust
they
they
lose to Notre
behind.
Dame?
I forgot.
Same
Yeah, I
same
think
word
you're
that
right.
bust they had.
They lost to
Yeah,
Notre
you're
Dame.
right.
Hey.
Talking tough.
You need
Okay.
you need
Yeah.
$2 for that.
Here you go. Here you go.
Talking tough,
All right, you ready? You
he
ready?
ain't that tough. He old.
Only one coach has won a championship with two different colleges.
John Calipari.
Rick
And-
Pitino.
No.
Good
NBA,
answer.
NCAA.
Yes.
Rick
Rick
Pitino.
Pitino.
No.
There you go.
Oh, it is?
You talking about no? He went to Kentucky and Louisville.
Yes, he did. Very good, Mark. I didn't think you went that far back.
No, when you look like
Yeah.
no. I'm like, hold up.
When I said Calipari, my next answer would have been Pacino, but I'm glad I gave
He
you
got to the
this.
final with Memphis. But They
Right.
lost.
Okay.
Okay. I'm gonna name some players so you can tell me the name of the colleges that they went to.
that's this guy.
I'm asking you
Why
too.
you say this guy?
You one of the panels, right?
Let's
Tim
go.
Duncan, what college you went to?
What's
Maybe.
Wake
There
Forest?
you go.
Oh.
I definitely forgot that.
Dolph Shays. No, Danny Shays.
Syracuse.
Right.
I wanted him to
He
answer.
don't know. He don't know.
I know you didn't know.
Yo,
He don't
I
know.
told
I was
you.
gonna say it to
Did I
him.
tell you that's this guy's alley right here?
My
And this guy's alley. Keep going.
You're supposed to know your
All right,
Syracuse
just say
team.
Magic, Larry, Sherm,
Kendall
Pearl,
Gill. Kendall Gill.
Illinois.
Yes.
Oh, how you know Kendall Gill?
Because they
man?
bust out, they beat us.
Too
And it's
late.
on them.
Too late. It's already been said. Jason Kidd.
California.
Right.
Yeah,
Good,
Cal.
good guy.
Right.
Sure, you surprised me. Yeah. Jamal Mashburn.
Kentucky.
He went to
Very
Kentucky.
good. Very good. Chris Paul.
Wake Forest too.
Very good. Kevin Love.
UCLA.
Very good. Charles Barkley.
Oh,
Auburn.
Everybody knows.
Jerry West.
West Virginia.
West
Very
Virginia.
good.
You don't know that.
Yeah, I went.
John Stockton.
Gonzaga.
Gonzaga.
Zags, right.
Greg is surprising me over there. Oh, okay. KD.
You supposed to. Oh,
Kevin
Texas.
Yes.
Tay House.
Yes.
Wonder why with
Look,
the Texas.
Look, that's why Madison Booker with his number 35.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, extra ketchup on the French fries.
There
No,
you
what's
go.
the name recruited him to Texas?
I like Madison Booker. She
I'm trying to
her
think
game
that
is
was-
tight.
She's a player.
Yeah.
That Texas
It was a
team.
guard,
Yeah.
light skin guard in the NBA. He recruited him. Hakeem Olajuwon.
Come on.
Houston.
Okay.
5 slammer jammer.
Clyde Drexler.
Houston.
Oh, come on.
Just make it sound interesting, yo.
David Robinson.
Navy.
Navy.
Surge.
Another team.
Surge, don't answer this question. Where did John Havlicek go?
Ooh.
Ooh, good question.
Don't answer it, Surge.
Celtics.
That's the top.
I know Surge no.
You know I know.
You already know. I know you
John
know.
Havlicek.
Don't answer it. Where he went?
I'm
That's a
not.
good question.
Shout out to Monica,
You talking to me or you
Bravo,
talking to
Anybody
Smile,
else?
Chocolate Drop.
I just don't want Surge. Because
I
I
just
know
don't want me
Surge
to yell
no.
it out.
Because I know Surge
I
no.
definitely don't know. John Green, where you at? I hope you doing good, my brother.
Yo, that's he went on East Coast or West Coast?
Middle of the country.
Middle of the country?
Middle.
Here we go with that middle of the country.
Yeah.
Here we go.
He went to Ohio State?
Yes, he did.
Oh wow.
Jerry
Get
Lucas.
out of here.
Jerry Lucas.
Yes, he did.
Okay. Okay. These three guys went to the same school.
Uh-oh.
Ray Williams, Kevin McHale.
Minnesota.
Who's the last guy?
The center, Randy Brewer.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
He
Minnesota.
said Minnesota.
Played with Dave Winfield.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes. Okay. What school did
Cam Thomas.
Oh my gosh.
It
LSU.
wasn't Syracuse.
LSU. Get this guy out of here.
who's that?
Tony Gwynn.
Tony Gwynn. What school he went to?
Ah, I definitely don't know that.
He played college ball too.
Baseball.
Basketball?
Yes, he did.
Yeah,
he was
he
on
did.
the team.
Yeah.
Played college
Tony
ball.
Gwynn. Good player.
Why I want to say San Diego State?
There you go.
That's where he went.
That's
wow.
where he went.
That's exactly where he
Yes.
went.
Wow.
Yes.
Yo, sure, I know y'all played.
Wow.
Okay. All right.
Drop it. Don't forget to
What
smile.
school Larry
You on
Bird
camera.
went to?
Indiana State.
Indiana State.
Okay.
That's those are easy ones.
That's easy.
That
Sycamore.
one, that's
Okay.
easy.
Okay. What school Keith Lee go to?
Yeah, see, now you got me.
Why you don't know where he
Now you
went?
Indiana
know-
State.
Huh?
Huh?
No.
What you say?
He said Indiana State.
Memphis State.
That's right.
You ain't
that
nothing
was
but a
Keith Lee.
hound dog.
Yes.
All right. Keith Lee.
All right.
And
I'm
Bill
good.
Walton went 21 for 22.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Keith Lee was a player. He was another guy, great college player,
That's right.
but didn't transfer to the
Didn't
NBA.
Right, right.
Great college player he was.
Yes, definitely.
Oh boy, he was a bucket.
Okay.
Oh, we got a request. We got a big request.
Go ahead.
Smile chocolate drop.
You on
Yeah.
camera, she said smile.
She said smile.
Oh,
I knew it.
That just came
I
up.
knew it.
What are you talking about?
They just
I knew it.
they just woke up to it.
Boy.
Says,
You don't even smile for.
says 617.
Finish with the show,
617.
man.
That's not all.
Right, that's good right now.
That's just it. Just passed.
Just now.
Okay.
Told her you was coming.
What school did Elvin Hayes go to?
Houston.
Yeah.
Right. What school did Wes Unstow go to?
Louisville.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh,
Good. Okay. I was getting ready to say, but I know you know.
what?
No, yeah, I'll tell
Say
you.
it.
I'm gonna tell you. No, because I know he knows.
Just tell him no answer.
Just
like
don't
I
answer.
did.
Okay, don't answer. Phil Ford. What school Phil Ford go to?
Oh God.
Stop
Please.
playing. Y'all don't know that.
I know he knows.
North
You know,
Carolina?
I know. I'm
I
not
know you
Yes.
know too.
North Carolina.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Huh?
North
He said it.
Carolina.
There
He
you
said
go.
it.
Okay.
How about the doctor?
UMass.
UMass.
You're not supposed to. Oh, you got
Well, he looked dead at me.
Yeah,
He looked
UMass.
dead at me. You know. Okay, I'm gonna get 3 more, and then I'm done. What? Okay, no, this is the last question for me. Team who been in the tournament the most times? Who was the number one?
UCLA.
UCLA.
Kentucky.
Nope. Kentucky's number one.
Oh wow.
62 times. Who's number 2?
St. John's.
Nope.
It's not UCLA.
Nope.
Yeah.
UCLA is
North
number
Carolina.
North Carolina is number
Yeah.
2.
Yes.
Kansas is
No,
3.
3. Yeah. So it's
UCLA is 4. Duke is 5.
Wow.
St. John is right below them.
I thought so. I know they was up there.
Yeah. And Ohio State too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ohio State been the, back in those days.
Back in the
Havlicek
days,
and
they
what's
stayed
them,
there.
They used to go all
They
the
used to go
time.
all the time.
40, like some of them had 30, 40 straight consecutive
Yeah.
bids.
All right. Jay, I'm
So
good.
when did the NCAA take over for before the
NIT used to
NIT.
be the
Right?
championship. game.
Right.
Right.
NIT was the championship.
I think it was in the 50s. if
In the
I'm correct.
50s, you
I
right.
think it was
And-
in the 50s.
And didn't the NRT winner next year get an automatic bid to the NCAA?
The
Did
winner?
that? Yeah.
Yes. No, actually, the NIT was the big.
No,
tournament.
but when
Right.
they added the NCAA, didn't the winner from the NRT the next year get an automatic bid?
I don't
I
know.
could have
I don't
swore.
remember that. No.
When
'Cause that's
did
a
the
total different team.
NCAA
I don't-
become bigger than the NIT?
I don't remember that.
Didn't City College win the NIT one year?
I believe so.
Yes, I think so too.
Is that? Did
What
they
was
have a
it?
selection too? Right? What happened?
Yeah.
Because I don't. What happened with
NIT?
the NIT?
Usually
They
it's
get
teams.
they get 32 teams. They get the leftovers.
Yeah,
most
they
of
get
people,
the leftovers.
You
right.
got to have a better than 500 record.
Yes.
Right.
And they
And
get
then
the-
and
yeah.
then some teams
they
decline.
deny it. Yeah,
Right,
they
they
decline.
decline because they don't want to go.
Especially the ones who
They feel
thought
it's a
that they
slap.
They
should
should
have
have
made.
been. Yeah.
A lot of them.
They feel it's a slap in the face.
But I feel they used to always talk about that, and they said they should let the players still want to play.
Right.
Why not give the kids the opportunity to get
Right.
a championship to NIT? Why not?
It was a little popular in the 90s
was.
and the 80s.
It was.
It-
And then it just started
It done got so
dying out.
bad it don't even play a championship game in the Garden no more.
Yeah,
Right.
They took
Right.
it away from the garden.
Yo,
Yeah.
Sell it in the
Look,
park.
look, talking about boots. The NRT is like North Lake boots back in the day was top of the line, and then Timberland just bust out the window. They the NCAA.
Right.
Right.
Well, I'm
Nobody
going
wear
back-
North Lakes no
Right.
more.
We going back. Let's say even the tournaments, like tournaments in the summer tournaments, like Elmco was a big tournament
Yes,
back in
sure
the day.
enough was.
Citywide was a big
Yeah,
tournament.
The biggest.
was one of the biggest in the cities.
Yeah.
You don't even hear
No.
about Citywide anymore.
No. That was the biggest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember I coached the All-Star game on Citywide. And we did it at
And CYO was big too.
CYO.
back when it was
Yeah,
big.
Well, that's most
Back
people
when-
played. I played in CYO.
I
If you
played
look at the
CYO
CYO
too.
was like I felt like it always prepared you for high school.
Yeah.
Because it was
Yes.
very organized.
Yes.
Very organized.
Right.
CYO
So-
league.
And it's funny, I ain't mean to cut you
Huh.
off. CYO, because when we was in Brooklyn, Queens and Brooklyn played each other in CYO.
Yes.
We didn't play Manhattan and the Bronx too much in CYO.
Mm-mm.
And CYO on Long Island is completely different.
Hmm.
Their rules are different.
Oh,
You
yeah.
can't press that the younger grades can't
No,
press.
they can't press. Exactly.
the
You
other
couldn't
stuff and
press.
everything
Yeah,
like that.
you couldn't do that.
All right. So let's get to picking these final fours. We'll put it out early. If we come back next week and if somebody got knocked off that was in the final four, we add and we change. All right. So you pick four and say one of your four get knocked off, then you put somebody in their place.
I just need to see.
All right.
You bring the bracket up now.
Before we start with the four, is there anybody that want to say predict that somebody leaving quick, fast, and a hurry?
I know you have a history of giving us, football sheets, and I want to applaud you for that. Where's the NCAA bracket sheets?
They're in the car. All right. No, they're on your phone, sir. Come on.
You think what you okay, you want four, the top four, and then you want to say what team you think might get knocked out off early?
Yeah, you could go with a knock with
Okay.
what team is gonna use that might be
Come out.
leaving quick,
Put 'em
fast,
in.
in a hurry.
Put
Or
in. I ain't pull the images.
you give me a final four. All right. So let's
Grab one.
Let's do it. Let's go. Everybody, I got everybody down. Everybody.
No, that's women. Yeah, come
Don't
on.
worry about it. That means 4 passes. All right.
So I already did my brackets for ESPN. I'm gonna go with the top one that I did first.
All right, cool.
St. John's, Florida, Gonzaga, and Michigan on my final four. I got St. John's winning the whole thing. And I hate to say this, I think that North Carolina, because they lost that kid Wilson, might be one of the ones that get knocked off real early.
Okay, so Serge,
Who you said? St. John's who?
Florida,
St.
Gonzaga.
John's. I got St. John's, Gonzaga, Michigan, and Florida in the final four.
Right. And you said who's gonna get knocked?
Wow.
I
Whoever
got
this
North
person-
Carolina getting knocked out.
Yo, check this out. Whoever this person's on the images has St. John's, Houston, Michigan, and Arizona. That's kind of crazy. Like they got St. John's
holding?
going to the final four.
What about you? So what are you ready?
There you go.
I'm gonna pick St. John's too for just representing Queens. I would go LIU and but then I might get kicked out of the group. LIU and Asher.
You
Right.
could replace him next week,
Yeah. Well,
which you will be doing.
I'm gonna pick Michigan State, Florida, Arizona, and
It's coming down.
Is it?
yeah, he said it was gonna be pouring.
all right. So one more.
I'm gonna pick Iowa State.
All right. Well, all right. We're running out of time. So anybody else? I'm gonna go St. John's, Arizona, Auburn, and Florida.
Well, you already lost one because Auburn ain't even in it.
I'm
You can't change your pick.
okay.
You should have said nothing, Serge.
It don't matter. He's gonna change it
He's gonna cheat.
tomorrow. He's gonna change it tomorrow. He
say
don't even
that.
gotta wait till next
All
week.
right, I'm gonna go with Duke then. All right, go for it, Kirk.
You can't
But,
go with
you
Duke
can't go
'cause
with Duke because
is
St.
with
John's
Duke.
and Duke is in the same.
bracket.
2 losses.
Yeah,
He'll
John.
St. John's.
He'll mysteriously be 14 games up.
You hear me?
Yeah, I got it.
St. John's,
Yeah, I
Houston,
know that's how you want to hold it.
Arizona, and they not one.
Got you.
And I'm gonna take Alabama.
Cool.
All right. I got St. John's, the Zags. I'm gonna take Virginia and Houston.
Cool.
That's my 4.
All right, Kirk.
Arkansas.
All right.
Can I get mine next week? No.
Yeah.
No, this Final 4.
Florida.
Yeah.
You can pick next week. You can pick on the Elite 8. Pick
crying.
yours during the Elite 8.
Arkansas, Florida,
Duke.
Duke.
Oh, wow.
They missing a point
I hate
guard.
Duke.
All right.
Yeah, but you
Got
should like
one
St.
more.
John's.
Duke is better.
China.
I
I
got
know
one
about-
more day.
I know. But we
How about
get ready,
UConn?
we get ready to go off the
You
show.
pick
Yeah, yeah, yeah. What's up?
We get ready to go off. We got one
Yeah.
last. Drop it. Last one.
Houston.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
You got one.
So everybody's in. All right.
Yeah.
So now,
D said he give you yours. His
all right, no problem. Next week. All right. So we'll be back next week and whatnot. And instead of the 4 pastors, we'll just be back. So everybody say, let's say goodbye. We'll be back next week.
Goodbye. We'll be back.
All right.
Goodbye. We'll be back next week.
All
Great
right.
show. See y'all next week, God willing.
All right.
Peace out.
Stay
Peace,
blessed.
y'all.
All right.
Goodbye. See you next week.
Music. Come on.
You
There you go.
Boy.
You know what I wanted. Hey, calm down. Yo, put that on.
Yeah.
Yo, you know this music? This music is powerful, man. The horns is for you. But this is all you want. That's what I'm talking about.
You made this yourself? Get a link? Put that on my phone?
Nah, I was trying to drop it out.